the African News Update on Top Accolade News. The headlines: Ramaphosa urges global cooperation at G20 Foreign Ministers meeting. Liberia faces setback as USAID suspends funding for key development projects. Uganda adopts new grading model. Ivory Coast takes control of last French military base. In politics, Ramaphosa urges global cooperation at G20 Foreign Ministers meeting. In Johannesburg, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has raised alarms about escalating global conflicts during a G20 Foreign Ministers meeting. Addressing the ongoing wars in Ukraine, Gaza, Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, he emphasized the heavy human toll these crises are inflicting and their impact on global security. Ramaphosa welcomed the recent Israel-Hamas ceasefire as a critical step towards alleviating the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. He urged G20 members to foster cooperation for global peace, prosperity, and climate action, calling on the international community to find common ground through constructive dialogue. Notably, the meeting saw the absence of the US amid strained relations with South Africa, while representatives from the EU, United Nations, and African Union were present. Shifting focus to economy, Liberia faces setback as USAID suspends funding for key development projects. The Liberian government is grappling with significant funding gaps after the cancellation of several USAID projects following the US administration's decision to suspend the program for 90 days. Liberia's finance minister expressed concern over the impact, highlighting the suspension of critical initiatives in health, education, and governance sectors, which has been key to the country's development. One of the most notable cuts is a $17 million initiative aimed at modernizing Liberia's tax system to boost revenue. The suspension represents a major setback for Liberia's ongoing efforts to improve its economic and social infrastructure. Moving to education, Uganda adopts new grading model. Uganda's Minister of State for Education and Sports, Honorable Peter Ongwang, has outlined the new grading system for the country's lower secondary school curriculum, focusing on competence-based assessments. The shift, which began in 2020, moves away from content-heavy evaluation to a model that assesses practical skills, problem-solving, and real-life application. Students are now graded on continuous assessment, project work, and end-of-cycle exams, with the final score comprising 20% school achievement and 80% exam results. Grading categories range from A for exceptional to E for elementary. This change aims to develop more confident students who can apply their learning beyond the classroom. The opposition has requested to respond to the statement in Parliament next week. In security, Ivory Coast takes control of last French military base. Ivory Coast officially took control of the last remaining French military base in the country on Thursday as France reduces its military presence across West Africa. While 80 French troops will remain in the country to advise and train the Ivorian military, this shift reflects broader changes in the region's defense dynamics, with many West African countries requesting French forces to leave amid rising local opposition. French troops have been expelled from nations such as Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, with military junters in this country increasingly aligning with Russia. The French government's efforts to maintain influence in these regions face mounting challenges as extremist violence continues to escalate in the Sahel. You are watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. In conflict, US imposes sanction on Rwandan minister an armed group member over DRC conflict. The U.S. Department of the Treasury has imposed sanctions on Rwandan Minister of State James Kabarebe and senior armed group member Lawrence Kingston, citing their roles in the ongoing violence in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The M23 rebel, allegedly sponsored by Rwanda, continued their offensive, driving tens of thousands of refugees into neighboring Burundi. The U.S. sanctions target those linked to human rights abuses and violence, urging Rwanda to return to negotiation to resolve the conflict under the Angola-led Luanda process. Meanwhile, Germany has summoned Rwanda's ambassador in protest of the M23 advances as the international community calls for respect of DRC's territorial integrity. The conflict has led to significant displacement, with the United Nations reporting 30,000 refugees fleeing to Burundi. The M23 rebels have also been accused of committing atrocities, including the execution of children in Bukavu. Moving to conflict, Somali National Army scored major victory in fight against terrorism. Somali officials report a significant victory in the fight against terrorism as Somali National Army troops repelled Al-Shabaab attacks on 4 government military bases, killing 130 militants. The attack, which involved explosives, was thwarted by defensive barriers, preventing further damage. The Somali Ministry of Information hailed the defeat, emphasizing the country's resolve in combating terrorism. Meanwhile, in Portland, government forces launched successful operations against Islamic State militants, killing at least 20 and injuring dozens more. These victories are part of ongoing efforts to secure territories previously held by militant groups. In entertainment, John Legend set to headline Move Africa 2025 concert in Rwanda. Excitement is building in Rwanda as global music icon John Legend prepares to perform at the highly anticipated Move Africa 2025 concert in Kigali's BK Arena on February 21st. This historic event marks Legend's first ever performance in Rwanda, where fans can look forward to live renditions of his classic hits like All of Me, Ordinary People, and Tonight. Known for his mastery in jazz, soul, and R&B, the 12-time Grammy Award winner will share the stage with Rwanda's own. The Move Africa tour aims to empower Africa's youth through music, with the next stop in Lagos, Nigeria on February 25th. Now in sports, Rwanda slams DRC's criticism of football sponsorships. Rwanda has condemned recent remarks by the Democratic Republic of Congo's foreign minister, who criticized the country's sponsorship deals with top European football clubs like Arsenal and Bayern Munich. The DRC official called this partnership bloodstains, questioning their morality amid ongoing violence in eastern Congo. Rwanda, which has been accused of supporting M23 rebels in the region, rejected the DRC's claim, calling them a threat to regional peace and stability. Rwanda emphasized that these sponsorships aim at promoting tourism and development are misrepresented by the DRC and should not be politicized. That concludes our African news updates for today. Stay tuned for more African news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojo Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.